Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
hey guys,
now.
roadtoroot.com. First of all, had a great discussion yesterday with Jean-Claude and friends about Silver Linings Financial Eclipse broadcast. Go check it out. Janine and Julie are amazing at what they do. Jean-Claude is amazing at what he does. And I threw my 2 cents in. Go check those out. Very important for now, especially if you're a silver investor, if you're a crypto investor, if you're looking to figure out what the hell is going on with all my investments. Also, if you're a private road member, check out the discussion I had with Jenny Moonstone on Thursday about the real Satoshi. We pretty much know who exactly the real Satoshi is. Silver's moment, Bitcoin bottoms, and very shocking Theta revelation. Go check that out. Theta, as many of you know, is my number one pick for cryptos. My number one pick overall, if I had the, at least for right now, if you're going to pick any asset, you said, Bix, you only get one, it would be physical silver in my own possession, probably in the form of a silver eagle, for various reasons. But I believe that silver will do the best out of anything if it's not rigged. And silver, we're looking at ending 170 years of silver price suppression. Hopefully, I've shown you how they do it, what's been going on for at least since the 1970s when they invented the computer programs to rig the markets. Hopefully, you're fully on board. You're sitting there on the sidelines with your physical silver in your hands. Now, the future, after we get through the chaos, and the chaos might be 6 months, it might be 6 years, it might be 60 years. Nobody really knows how long, or we might disappear from the planet with what Biden wants to do. I don't think that's going to happen, but everything's going to be different when the financial system implodes and we go to something new. During that time, you're going to want physical silver. Yes, cryptos might be great, will be great in the future, I believe, but it's not going to be great during the transition. Remember, all exchanges are going to shut down when the banking system shuts down. And the banking system is going to shut down because the bad guys, that's how they control you. They control you through unbacked fiat money. And they control the spigots to turn it on, turn it off. And they're the reason you have to slave at jobs that you wouldn't do if you had your choice. Humanity is moving into a very interesting spot. And this is the first time in human history that we've ever been on an unbacked fiat monetary system. The whole world bought into the lie of the unbacked fiat monetary system. Various spots have tried it and crashed it, didn't work, and things like that. And you go back to John Law and in France and all that stuff. The collapsing of currencies, we've seen it many times, but never on a global basis, never with a world reserve currency, which the United States, the world's reserve unbacked currency, that's just crazy. And no other currency is better than the U.S. dollar, and we know how shitty the dollar is. And nobody wants to be. If we print $1 trillion out of the blue, China's going to print 8 trillion of their yuan. Nobody wants to be the one. I mean, we soaked up all the benefits. It's been great for over 100 years. Soaking up all the benefits of unbacked fiat money. Build your roads, your bridges, your houses, your military, blah, 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 blah. But the problem comes in at the end game for it. And the end game is going to be hardest on the country that has the world's reserve currency. So it will be hardest on the United States of America, especially mentally, going from the greatest country in the world. So we think, Americans think they're the greatest country in the world. That's debatable. And we talked about this yesterday on the Jean-Claude discussion. But we're going to go from, so much prosperity everywhere in the U.S. compared to everywhere else to everybody has nothing. But that's what happens when you're the unbacked global fiat world's reserve currency. All those will go to zero just like every other unbacked fiat currency. And because the United States is losing this battle right now and can click a mouse to end the game, that's the question. When will they click a mouse? And it's not even, they don't even have to click a mouse. All they have to do is tweak or turn off the rigging for just a moment, and poof, everything explodes. And that's where we're headed. And they're going to want to blame, the good guys want to blame the bankers. And the number one banker in the market rigging is JP Morgan. That goes through every market, not just the silver market, not just the gold market, but the currency markets. Jamie Dimon has $5 trillion going out every single day out of their currency trading unit down in Florida. He admitted that a while ago. $5 trillion per day in a company that literally only has, $3 trillion in assets. So 60 trillion in derivatives. It's crazy when you think about it, but that's where we're going, and there's no getting out of it. So go check out the discussion I had yesterday. Private Road members, go check out the discussion I had with Jenny, and we talk about the moon as well, because a lot of people are starting to talk about the moon, and who else to go to except Jenny Moonstone for that discussion. Silver, they're still holding it below the moving averages for the 1 year chart. It's right here, still below the moving averages, but they're bouncing against them. We're not seeing much up, not seeing much down, not much change in the commitment of traders report too. So the what the criminals want is the commercials to go as least amount of short as possible, but just keep hold of the price. What they want is the tech traders to go long, but the tech traders aren't going long until it gets firmly stopped, goes above the moving averages. So they're going to have to keep shorting, and it's like they want to get out of their position. I think the only way to get out of the position for the riggers now is force majeure, and they can do that with a war. So I do expect us to go to war purely for saving the bank reasons, and it won't be pretty in the United States of America. We're not ready for it. And we have criminals running our show. They're stealing our money and giving it to people like their own election campaigns through the Ukraine, all that bullshit. So I had talked to Jenny about, I remember back in the Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street days, people would, there was this one picture of this woman in a rally just with her hand up like that, and all it said was no on their palm. So anything that was asked, just say no. That's how we win. Will you bail out the banks? No. Will you pay taxes? No. Will you support a war? No. The answer is no. Anything the government asks you for, no. And we're going to get at that point. I was going to have tattooed no on the bottom of my hand. I did it in Sharpie instead because I'm a wimp. I don't want needles on my... Can you imagine how painful it would be to tattoo your palm? Pain. So that's where we are. If you're looking for short-term profits, I don't know why you would, because that would be in fiat money. You want to be in standalone assets that you have in your own possession. Anything through a third party will be gone. I hope everybody understands that. $2.5 quadrillion worth of derivatives are about to go down, taking away every financial asset we know. No checking account, savings account is going to last. But there's FDIC insurance. Well, the FDIC doesn't have any money. And you're going to have to get Congress to agree on bailouts. They're not going to agree on bailouts. And then it's bail-in. And what happens when the first bail-in happens? Everybody runs to their bank to get their money out, and poof, the system's gone. I hope that resonates, especially people who are worried about bail-ins. What a bail-in is for people who have less than $250,000. Now, bail-ins can only happen on a small scale, but less than $250,000 would be taken. So Silicon Valley Bank, when they went down, Oprah's $400 million she had in there, or whatever, those big corporations with money in there, it would all be gone. So any bail-ins would, by definition, destroy every corporation that has over $250,000 in cash in a bank. I mean, you look at something like Apple Computer. How many banks do they have? They have so much cash. And same with many companies and individuals. Many individuals are completely over their skis when it comes to FDIC insurance. So the reason there's not going to be a bail-in is the system won't survive the first bail-in in the United States. So let's just say that Silicon Valley Bank was not bailed out. And in any way, even through JP Morgan picking up all their assets. If there are depositors, individual depositors that lose the money, that lose money because, oh, I'm not FDIC insured over $250,000, that very moment it's announced on the news, everybody will run to the bank who has over $250,000. That would not allow the banks to survive more than a day. That's It's a Wonderful Life. Remember, your money's not there. It's in Joe's house and Fred's house. So just keep that in mind. There will be no large-scale bail-ins in the United States of America because the financial system of America could not survive it. The banking system could not survive it. They're fractionally reserved, meaning every dollar that the system goes up, they make $10 because they put out money 10 to 1. Every dollar they lose $10. So it's the fire hose through the Dixie cup thing when people come to take their deposits out of the bank because they don't trust it. As I've said a million times, and this is why there will be no CBDC. This is why there'll be no Klaus Schwab solution. This is why there'll be no World Bank solution, IMF solution, BIS solution. Trust will be lost. You have to trust the people who are just making these decisions. Nobody is going to trust any of those entities. They're the people who put us in our position now. I hope that makes sense. A couple things I want to talk about today. Keep this kind of brief. A lot of people sent me this thing by Bald Guy Money. Silver to go extinct and cause the price to explode. A lot of people looked at the USGS data, the periodic table, what's the first element to disappear and all that, and silver at its current consumption rate. And silver's always been one of the it has the shortest time frame compared to how many reserves that we have in the ground globally versus how much we use. Now, obviously, the problem is as the price goes up for silver, that would expand exploration, which will increase the amount available. But at the rate we're eating it up, it's about 17 to 20 years. But it's been 17 to 20 years for the last 20 years. So those numbers are not exactly right. But the more that silver price is suppressed, the less the silver miners go out there and try to dig the stuff up. And it takes like from the beginnings of saying, okay, we've found some silver and we're going to develop this mine. It's going to be 5 to 10 years from that point on before silver starts coming out on average. Some are quick, the silver deposits that are really close to which is most silver's close to the top of the earth, whereas gold you can find all the way down. Most of the silver's been found. So everything's going to change, and don't believe data, by the way, even the USGS data. The thing I want to talk about this situation is he does think silver's undervalued, but he doesn't talk about or even probably understand the manipulation, price suppression, how it's done, how long has it been done. Because he talks a lot about, the silver-gold ratio has been 15 to 1, but, when it in 2011 in the peak, in 1980 in the peak, it went to 30 to 1. That's his number, 30 to 40 to 1, and it's at 87 to 1. So, it's a long way to go. It's got nothing to do with it. The price was suppressed in 1980. The price was suppressed in 2011. So you can't take the past and lay it over, we're going to have another spike in silver, so it goes down to 30 to 1, and you can get in and get out. No. This is the end of manipulation of silver, 107 years of price suppression. That's what I'm waiting for. And that ratio, what should the ratio of gold or silver be? Based on what's coming out of the ground, it should be 3 to 1. Why do I say 3 to 1? Because right now, what's coming out of the ground is 7 to 1, but 60% of that 7 to 1 goes into the industrial side and is used up and gone. The difference between comparing a gold-silver ratio today to a gold-silver ratio for the past 3,000 years is that before the 1990s, the 1890s, when the Industrial Revolution really started kicking in and people started actually using silver on the industrial side, probably obviously a lot more, and as everything became electrified, all that silver was used for money. There was no other use. Maybe jewelry and tea sets. So all the silver that was dug out of the ground was still available, just like gold is now. All the gold dug out of the ground was still available in bars and jewelry and whatever you use gold for. Now is different. Now it's completely different. Back, the estimated total silver ever mined is about 60 billion ounces. 60 billion ounces. And they're estimating that at least 50 billion are gone now, have been thrown away, exploded, gone into solar panels. They're not coming back any day soon. There will be a lot of recycling coming into the market, but it won't be recycled at $23 an ounce. It will be recycled at $200, $300, $400, $500 per ounce. That's what it would kind of price it would take to go in to the landfills, try to find little bits of silver that were in electronic components of a flat screen TV that you threw away or a cell phone that you threw away. So the whole concept of 15 to 1 is the historical average, the two peaks at 30 to 40, it's bullshit. It's over. In a freely traded market, and that's not even talking about all the extra gold that I've talked about many times. The true ratio of gold to silver above ground right now, above ground silver and gold, should be at least 1 to 1. There's about 6 billion ounces of each. And coming out of the ground is 3 to 1. So why are people talking about 30 to 1 or 40 to 1? And why is it sitting at 87 to 1? Because the market's rigged. And because analysts can all they do is look at price. But if I tell you that price is fake and there's other things that should be looked at, what are they pulling it out of the ground at? What about reserves in the ground? What have they got they can get quickly? It's not much. Yes, the extinction on the periodic table will come into play unless we start finding more silver. And you're not going to find more silver at $23 an ounce silver. Everybody and their mother would be looking for silver at $1,000 an ounce, $2,000 an ounce. And how much can be found? Well, I would venture to say that there's 60 billion ounces out there. They just can't get it. You can't get 50 billion of them because they're in little tiny pieces. They're in your cell phone. Oh, I lost my cell phone. Where is it? I don't know. They end up in a landfill somewhere. Those landfills are going to be gold mines. You want to make some money? Go around and buy up all the landfills. Because people are going to be digging through those with metal detectors trying to find little scraps of silver. But it is just so difficult to understand what would it take, what price would it take for there to be a serious amount of silver that changes market dynamics, real market dynamics, out of recycling. Other than what they're doing right now. They get the easy to recycle stuff. The photography stuff, we all get it's easy to recycle. Other things are more expensive to recycle, like tearing down your computer into the component parts. And silver, most likely is not what you're going to tear down your computer for. But at $250, $300, $2,000 an ounce, yeah, people will start doing that. And that's what it will take to fill this shortage we have of silver that is not going away, not by any means. No matter what they tell you. Anyway, so I like the guy's talk. Anybody who likes silver is okay in my book. But he severely misunderstands the gold-silver ratio, in my opinion. All right, just another sign that, yes, we are at the end of the unbacked fiat monetary system, the end of the manipulation. Jamie Dimon, for the first time in, he's been at JP Morgan about 20 years. For the first time, he says he's going to sell stock. For the first time, over $1 billion worth of stock. Bankers don't sell stock when they think things are great and going to get better. Bankers sell stock when they know their game is about to end. Jamie Dimon knows, especially in the silver market, the game is about to end. So he announced that he's selling his stock, which he's required to do. He said all over the duration of next year. So everybody's thinking, Jamie's selling it, but not yet. No, Jamie locked in his sale. Once he announced it, he can go into the derivative market and lock in the sale price. He can even sell off his stock beforehand and sell it to somebody else to, just do it in a contract outside of the view of everybody else. He can play his own derivative game, take his value now and run for the hills. And then during the course of next year, he'll sell off the stock and close out the derivative contracts. So yeah, Jamie Dimon how much has he done of that? Probably his entire stake. I think he had $7 billion. He's going to do it every year, so he's locked in the contract so he can go out and short it and sell off the income stream of. He can do a hell of a lot of things now that he has announced he is selling. That's what the bankers do. What a freaking criminal this dude is. I hope he doesn't enjoy the money because he's rotting in a jail. And there's so many reasons for him to rot in a jail. By the way, J.P. Morgan, the largest bank in the world, is also the largest criminal in the world. Criminal corporation. $40 billion in fines on things they got caught for. Imagine how much money they made for the things they didn't get caught for. And how much money they made on the things they got caught for. I mean, Jamie Dimon paying J.P. Morgan paying $920 million for rigging the gold, silver, and treasury market. That's nothing. How much money did they make on that gold, silver? For example, they booked the very year that they got fined the $920 million, they booked a gain of $1 billion in their precious metals trading desk. That came out in the trial of the 3 lawyers that went to jail, or 3 traders that went to jail. It's so in your face fraud. But that's banking. When politicians and bankers say, "Oh, it's just fraud for people laundering money." Oh my God, where do people launder money? In the banking system. Here's an interesting top 10 unforgivable crimes. Wachovia launders Mexican money cartel. That's a regulated bank. It means the regulators were in on it. Chinese laundering underground banking money. Forex scandal. All these blow any crypto money laundering away. Blow it away. And it's untrackable because they think they're in charge of it, but they can easily hide things in the banking system if the regulators for example, the SWIFT system. All this should have gone through the SWIFT system. Where was the cop on the beat of the SWIFT system? On the blockchain, you can see where everything is. The Nazis obviously used the banking system. Barclays Bank, all kinds of banks financed the Nazis. HSBC, massive money launderers for terrorists, drug cartels, and dictators. I mean, you just go down the line. The banking system is it's mafia. It's the mafia. I think one of the big things with J.P. Morgan Chase, and where is it? Here it is. Now, Wall Street on Parade, great site. I highly suggest. They're more lefty in their politics, believe it or not. But when they go after J.P. Morgan, they're good at it. 5 felony counts against this bank. They just posted a new one. J.P. Morgan Chase paid $1.085 billion in legal expenses in the last 6 months. It's still battling hundreds of charges and legal proceedings on 3 continents. At the same point, federal regulators, the Senate Banking Committee, and the Criminal Division of the U.S. Justice Department are going to reach the same conclusion that Wall Street on Parade reached quite some time ago. J.P. Morgan Chase is a criminal enterprise in drag as a federally insured bank. J.P. Morgan Chase, the largest U.S. bank with $3.9 trillion, they're going to hit $4 trillion soon, in assets and 4,863 branches, sucking in mom-and-pop deposits across the United States, according to its regulators. It is also the riskiest bank in the United States. And 2 trial lawyers have written fact-intensive books describing how the bank resembles the Gambino crime family. The bank's admission to 5 criminal felony accounts since 2015 and spiraling rap sheet would seem to back up this theory. Now comes the latest revelation, the bank's own 8K filing with the SEC last Friday. Somehow, in just 2 quarters, the span of a meager 6 months, this one bank managed to spend a stunning $1.085 billion on legal expenses. The bank spent $665 million on legal expenses for the 3 months ended September 30th and $420 million for the 3 months ended June 30th. Reading deeper into the recent 8K filing strongly hints that this bank is not only a serial criminal enterprise, but it is also a full employment for big law. Throughout the year, big law firm Wilmer Hale has been racking up a lot of billable hours defending J.P. Morgan Chase from highly credible charges brought by the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands in a federal lawsuit that the bank actively actively participated in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking of minors by serving his cash conduit for more than 15 years. Jamie Dimon said, "Oh, I didn't hear about him. I think, and it was only a couple years that we banked him. 15 years." While the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands filed extremely heavy evidence with the court to back up her charges, Hale pursued a scorched earth legal strategy of smearing officials in the U.S. Virgin Islands that brought them to a cheap settlement of $75 million in September. And listen to this. Wilmer Hale also represented J.P. Morgan Chase this year in a federal class action lawsuit on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, given that 15 J.P. Morgan employees had visited Epstein at his Manhattan mansion where Epstein's sex slaves were in abundance, and their testimony at trial might have been added new scandals to the bank. J.P. Morgan also settled that case for a generous sum, $290 million in June. And by the way, it's the board of directors too. Jamie Dimon and the board of directors were involved, not just in banking with the Epsteins. All right. So that's what's going on. Quickly to cryptos. Again, Bitcoin hasn't bottomed. Probably, but you can always, when the system falls apart, it's not like we're going to know the value of Bitcoin. When the banks fall apart, all the exchanges are gone because they all deal in fiat money. So we're not going to know the value of Bitcoin. All you're going to know is what you have in your own possession. If you have coins held by a third party, like Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or anywhere, if anybody's between you and your cryptos, they're gone. Just keep that in mind. I did talk a lot about Theta with Jenny, and it's not a question, why Theta is underperforming all the cryptos and has been for so long. Theta is probably the most important crypto you will ever hear of about what's happening in the future. Why isn't it on Coinbase? Why isn't it on Kraken? Why isn't it on Gemini? It's too important. That's the problem with Theta. It's not that it's not important and not the best crypto. It is, and it is. It's too important. It's too disruptive to an infrastructure of the following. Here's the Theta network. Started out with a content delivery network. It's like a $100 billion industry. And they figured out, hey, we can do content delivery is like the last mile problem. And if you study anything about broadband and like streaming services, live services, it's all about that last mile problem. You can get all the data to an area, but how do you sparse it out to every individual using it and things like that? They call it the last mile problem. So they hire these people called content delivery networks. Like Google has a massive content delivery network, massive business. That Netflix will send all the videos and stuff to a central point close to a big city or within a big city, and then they sparse it out to every individual, things like that. That's what these guys first started doing to save on costs. And it's like, oh my God, this is an amazing invention that you can have individuals running off their computers a way to share broadband locally. That's what it is. That's part of it. That was the original stuff. And then it got down to, basically they call it Web3 Video API, lower your cost to encode, store, and deliver videos. And from there, it just started getting built out bigger and bigger. They have a global edge network. That's all the computers that are currently sharing have extra, not only extra bandwidth, but they have extra storage space. So this is share bandwidth, storage, and computing to earn rewards. So you can earn Theta Fuel by running an edge node on your computer. And right now there's, right here, 7,000 of them. But here's where it gets complicated. Two of their partners, Sony and Samsung, make the most TVs in the world, televisions. Right? Samsung and Sony, I think they're the two biggest. And they're partners from day one. And the Theta Edge Node is a software download. So you can download it right now on your computer or on your TV. Samsung and Sony can download on every single one. It's a click of a mouse to set up a Theta Edge Node on every smart TV around the world. And there's billions of them. Imagine billions of edge nodes sharing broadband, running a Theta Edge Node, sharing broadband, storage of for AI, artificial intelligence. You need instant access to information at all times, everywhere in the world. I hope it's starting to build in your mind. It's like, oh my God, this would be the largest computing network in the world, the largest storage network in the world. But here's the problem. Well, you're going to put Google Cloud out of business? You're going to put the Amazon Cloud out of business? Instantly. Instantly. I mean, it's a little more complicated than that, but not much. And these guys are all invested in it, and they're like, well, we know it's the future, but right now we have trillions of dollars invested in the infrastructure of the global video network, the global storage network. It is shocking what this would do. So of course it's like and all of the other cryptos, like, why do you think they don't put it on Coinbase? They won't put it on Gemini. It's too disruptive. It's kind of like Veritasium. It's too disruptive to use Veritasium instead of the global criminal banking system to do peer-to-peer transactions. So ultimately, yes, I think Theta will be the number one crypto out of all of them. Even farther past that, probably Veritasium will come in and help the United States when the United States has been destroyed. This isn't overnight type of stuff. Even though with Theta, you can do this overnight. Other things, the meta chain, you can build a business with your own blockchain, issuing your own tokens, but you're not the one who's approving them. It's approved through the Theta validators and guardians. Amazing invention. So Apple Computer can start the Apple coin. And Hitomi saw all this happening, the remote viewing session that she did for crypto viewing. You can have a Netflix blockchain that Netflix controls. There's a Netflix coin, but it's not approved by Netflix because that would be obviously conflict of interest. It would be approved by the Theta validators and guardians. And the transactions are like that. It's proof of stake with a twist because you got your validators, 20 or 30 of them, that can instantly approve transactions, but then you got your guardians to make sure that they didn't screw up, or they aren't cheating, or they aren't lying. And that's a much larger group dispersed about guardian nodes. There are like 3,000 right now, and that'll grow. Amazingly fast, amazingly cheap transactions. Oh, by the way, you can do all smart contracts on Theta as well because it's written on the same code as Ethereum. You know, they don't want to say we're the Ethereum killer because, you know, we saw what happened to EOS on that one. They don't even want to compete with Ethereum, but they can. They do the same thing. And then there's NFTs. It's just not normal NFTs. Anybody can do an NFT. NFT with direct rights management, digital rights management, meaning NFTs that you can show MGM movies. MGM's a partner. MGM movies, and MGM can charge for each movie. It's massive. Monetize your content and IP secure with digital rights. And they have patents on all this stuff. That's what Theta is. And that's why Theta is sitting there at 60 cents and not $600 or $6,000 per coin. It's because it's too good. It's too disruptive to an ingrained, in-place infrastructure that is dying on the vine. Everybody and their mother's running out of bandwidth. It would take trillions of dollars to build out the system, and you wouldn't even do it. You wouldn't even finish it by the time you're going to need more. It's an amazing invention. It is too amazing. That is why that Theta Labs isn't really allowed to even talk about the ability to download an edge node on every smart TV or every computer on the planet, solving the global broadband infrastructure problem. But that's where it's going. Hitomi saw it in her RV. A lot of the crypto guys saw it and said, oh, Jesus, this is massive. And you want AI, it can't be done without Theta. Because the amount of information that's needed to be stored, needed to be relayed instantly close by, only something like a distributed computer system all over the world would be able to do that. And not just AI, the Internet of Things, IoT. Theta invented a way you can do storage, you can increase broadband. You can run computing power off the edge node. It's the largest computer in the world, I think now. It is so massive. But you're going to have to sit through the low price. Because the people who have direct influence on what Theta are going to do are saying, holy shit, this is too big. We know we'll need it, but it's too big. And it's something like silver, and it's something like veritasium. The world's got to implode for these things to really be implemented. We got to go through the destruction of the unbacked fiat monetary system, the destruction of civilization as we know it, which is coming up. Hopefully, we won't go to nuclear war, but it's not out of the picture at all. And what the United States is doing and the deep state is doing is pushing us closer and closer. To keep control over us, they need a war badly. And any war fought today, I think, will be fought on the cyber levels, which puts everything in trouble. So, yes, it is crazy. Theta could go from 68 cents to $68 in a blink of an eye with an announcement by Sony or Samsung or both of them. But, hey, we see that the world is on their knees. Here's what we propose. We're going to download an edge node on every smart TV. It's going to run in the background. You won't even notice it, but you'll earn T-Fuel. And, oh, by the way, it will increase broadband for the world. It will have everybody and their mother, give them a chance. We could even do a universal basic income. And that was in the remote viewing. People could use Theta fuel as money, their TV or their phone. I don't think they can do phone yet, because it's got to stay on to be processing the edge network. The computer has to stay on, but you can do it in the background. It's not on the phone yet, but it will be probably one day. Anyway, I hope everybody sees that. I'm not saying it won't go down to zero like some of the cryptos have, but it doesn't look like it. They got like 12 patents more coming, and it's a massive solution for humanity, and that's what humanity needs. You can get them you can get Theta on simpleswap.io. Just go to SimpleSwap and then type in Theta. There you go. SimpleSwap, you can get Theta. That's selling Theta. So let's see. Can you buy Theta? Of course you can. Right here. You can buy Theta for Ethereum right here. And right now they'll give you X amount of Theta. That's if you know how to use cryptos. If you don't know how to use cryptos, you can go to roadtoruler.com, click on affiliates. Affiliates right there on the top. And these are all our partners who help people out. Go to Caleb and Brown, who's a crypto broker. And that's Jeff Zystra. He's not there anymore. But there's some great guys over there. If you say Road to Ruta sent you, they'll give you 30% off on your transaction fees. So, yep, you got to be in crypto, but have them in your own possession, please. In your own possession only. And by the way, the U.S. has a new speaker, Mike Johnson. I have no idea who this guy is. Supposedly he's, supported by Trump, which is, in my book, good. Supposedly he's supported by the Koch brothers. In my book, that's kind of sketchy. I guess proof is in the pudding, but he's talking about funding all these wars, and I'm like, I am not a fan of that. And so, meet the old boss, same as the new boss. No, meet the new boss, same as the old boss type of thing. I don't know that the United States has any say in this shit anymore, unless it is true that the military does run the United States, which I think is true. But unless the rest of the people know that, we're gonna have to go through whatever shit they throw our way. So I can't tell you what, but if they're using my tax money to give to Ukraine to funnel it back into the Hillary Clinton campaign, Joe Biden campaign, and all that, and no, I am not a fan. So we'll see. No, don't bring all our troops home. We shouldn't be in any country at this point in time. Anyway, want to join the private road at roadtoruda.com, get all the behind the scenes stuff. We're currently giving away one silver Ruda coin, the coolest coin ever made, with a 1-year subscription to the private road. Go check it out. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.